I'd like to talk about a very peculiar situation that's developed over the past 30 years, and that is that many, if not all, products labeled heart healthy not only do nothing of the sort, but actually may contribute to heart disease. Now, this has become even worse recently because the American Heart Association reaffirmed its stand that saturated fat causes heart disease. And as you may have gathered, the bulk of data do not show that. That is, the conclusion they draw from very outdated science. The four studies that were conducted in the 1960s and used very flawed methods and came to very false conclusions, yet that is the basis for their belief, for their stand, as well as the more recent observational epidemiological studies that they claim prove that saturated fat causes heart disease. Of course, those studies do not show that, though that flawed construction, that flawed design construction was the same kind of design construction used to prove that Premarin, that is horse estrogens, were good for females for prevention of endometrial and breast cancer and heart disease, which of course it is not. The real analysis that was finally performed, the prospective design study that compared Premarin to placebo, showed that it actually increased risk of cancer and heart disease. And so it's not uncommon for once the real studies are performed, the prospective placebo-controlled studies are performed, that the prior conclusions that were drawn from epidemiological observations were false, were wrong. And so the same thing here, I believe, applies. And so the Heart Association stand that saturated fat causes heart disease is not founded in solid science. But now we have this problem where many products labeled heart healthy are not. For instance, many products labeled non-fat or low-fat are awful. For instance, low-fat or non-fat yogurt. They take the fat out, and to make it palatable, they'll add more sugars in the form of sucrose, sugar syrups, high fructose corn syrup, and they'll boost the sugar content many-fold to 20, 30, or 40 grams per serving, which of course is horrible. Recall that sugars cause provocation of the small LDL particle that causes heart disease. And they also do other things: raise blood sugars, cause insulin resistance, raise triglycerides, high blood triglycerides, modify the other particles in the bloodstream, and make them more likely to cause heart disease. So the sugars in low-fat, non-fat products are awful, not to mention that highly processed yogurts often are depleted in the probiotic type microorganisms that are good for us. So a full-fat, non-sugared up yogurt that's been fermented for extended periods, that's the kind of yogurt you want, starting with organic products, of course. How about those products labeled heart healthy because they contain sterols, plant sterols or phytosterols? Now, this is a bit of a convoluted logic here, but you should know that there's a rare disease called sitosterolemia. And that's a rare genetic disease where people eat regular foods like vegetables and nuts, and they absorb the phytosterols, the plant-like sterol compounds. They look like cholesterol, but they're plant-sourced cholesterol-like compounds. These people absorb large quantities of phytosterols from the diet that we don't. And they get very high blood levels of phytosterols, such as sitosterol. And their blood levels are around 50 or 75 milligrams per deciliter. They get heart disease at age 18 or 20, have to go through bypass surgery at that age or have heart attacks. Well, you don't have that, of course. We tend to have blood levels of phytosterols, of sitosterol, of maybe 2 or 3, very low levels, which is safe. Well, here's a problem. What if you load up on plant sterols from heart-healthy margarine or heart-healthy mayonnaise? Well, you can develop blood levels of phytosterols of 8, 9, 10, 12 milligrams per deciliter. Not as high as those people with sitosterol, but many-fold higher than other people. Now there are 2 studies suggesting that phytosterol supplementation with heart-healthy products raises heart attack risk. So another example of heart-healthy margarines and mayonnaises and other products probably increase heart disease and heart attack risk. How about breakfast cereals? Many are labeled heart-healthy, particularly if they contain oats or whole grains. Well, what about the small LDL particle, once again, that's provoked by sugar? Well, the amylopectin A of grains also vigorously provokes formation of small LDL particles that cause heart disease. Grains, including oats, send your blood sugar sky high, which causes insulin resistance, visceral fat growth, and other problems, the problems of glycation, for instance, all of which leads to heart disease. So cereals, even if they bear the heart healthy label, as Cocoa Puffs, Berry Kicks, and Count Chocula have, and that's true by the way, are not heart healthy. That's ridiculous. Margarines are often labeled heart healthy because they contain polyunsaturates. And the most recent reaffirmation of saturated fat is bad by the American Heart Association reaffirmed their belief that polyunsaturates are good for you. But that's likewise an outdated notion. The polyunsaturated oils from oils such as corn, mixed vegetable, etc., safflower, sunflower, overload the body in the omega-6 fraction. This is an unprecedented situation that has never been experienced by humans before. And we have very good data to show that an overload in such omega-6 linoleic acid rich forms of oils are inflammatory and probably increase risk for cancer and total mortality. So, and do not, of course, reduce heart disease risk. That's another false interpretation of very weak and flawed science. After all, you know what the original heart healthy product was, endorsed by the American Heart Association? Crisco. Yes, hydrogenated trans fat rich Crisco was the Heart Association's first product that was hailed for many years as heart healthy. So it's no surprise that these products labeled heart healthy are nothing of the sort. They in fact contribute to heart disease and other problems. The truly heart healthy foods are green vegetables and nuts and meats and saturated fat and full fat meats and fish and poultry with the skin, with the fat, the dark meat included, organ meats, liver, etc. A return to real food. Those are the genuinely heart healthy foods. But you won't see a label, will you? Because no one's making a premium, a price being paid to put that heart healthy label on it. So ignore anything that says heart healthy, because the overwhelming likelihood is that it not only is not heart healthy, but actually causes heart disease.